Anxiety is a thief that steals your present to fund a future that will never exist. You are willingly handing over the reins of your mind to an invisible tyrant, becoming a mere puppet to phantom fears. Stop yielding your sovereign territory to shadows. By the end of this journey, I will reveal the exact psychological fortress Epictetus constructed to remain utterly invincible while enslaved. We must conquer this inner terrain immediately. We will uncover 3 crucial disciplines. First, diagnosing the root of your modern dread. Second, reclaiming your hegemonikon, the ruling faculty of your soul. And finally, severing the invisible strings of apprehension. But do not look away. The real revelation, the very technique Epictetus used to survive chains and exile, awaits you in our final moments. You awaken, and the weight is already there, resting heavily on your chest before you have even opened your eyes. Your mind races through a labyrinth of imaginary disasters, rehearsing failures for events that have not yet transpired. This is not natural vigilance. This is a profound malfunction of your reason, a silent surrender to a tyranny of your own making. You are bleeding out. Look at how you live. You scroll through endless digital feeds, absorbing the curated panic of the world, adopting tragedies that do not belong to you. Your heart beats faster, your shallow breath catches, and your nervous system screams in perceived peril. Yet, you sit perfectly safe in a quiet room. You have allowed external, indifferent things to dictate your internal weather. Anxiety thrives precisely because you give it absolute authority over your internal empire. Every time you entertain a worst-case scenario without logic, you feed the beast. You mistake your racing thoughts for reality. You treat your trembling hands as evidence of an approaching storm, ignoring the clear skies right above you. This chronic dread is draining the very vitality required to live excellently. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca wrote those words 2 millennia ago, and yet they remain the most piercing diagnosis of our modern condition. You construct elaborate torture chambers in your mind, strapping yourself into the chair of anticipation. Why do you borrow misery? Why do you pay interest on a debt of sorrow you may never actually owe? The tragedy is not that you feel fear. The tragedy is that you let it rule your choices. You decline opportunities. You remain silent when you should speak. You shrink your life down to a manageable, miserable size. All because you are terrified of an outcome you cannot control. You are betraying your own potential, sacrificing your virtue on the altar of cowardice. Understand this. Every moment spent drowning in anxiety is a moment stolen from your actual life. The clock continues to tick. Memento mori. You are dying every single day, and yet you spend these precious, unrecoverable hours rehearsing doom. It is an insult to your existence. It is a profound rejection of the rational nature bestowed upon you by the cosmic logos. You tell yourself you are just being prepared. You disguise your anxiety as responsibility. But preparation requires calm, calculated logic. Anxiety is chaotic, frantic, and entirely useless. It does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It only empties today of its strength. You are exhausting your reserves before the battle even begins, leaving yourself entirely defenseless when real adversity finally strikes. When will you say enough? When will you refuse to be dragged by the hair through the mud of your own catastrophic thinking? The strings attached to your limbs are woven from your own unchecked judgments. No one else is making you panic. No one else is forcing your pulse to race. The enemy is inside the gates, sitting comfortably on your throne. This is a crisis of self-governance. Your rational mind, meant to be the master, has become a slave to animalistic panic. You have forgotten your inherent dignity. You react to a delayed email with the same biological terror as a spear thrown at your chest. It is a pathetic misallocation of your vital energy, a fundamental misunderstanding of what is truly dangerous. Your peace is constantly shattered by the opinions of others, the volatility of the market, the unpredictable nature of health and fate. You cling to these externals as if they were your salvation, and when they shift, as they inevitably must, your sanity shatters. You have built a fortress on shifting sand, and you wonder why the walls constantly tremble with every passing breeze. To be a puppet to anxiety is to live in a constant state of treason against yourself. You betray your own logic. You hand the crown to an impostor. The Stoic path demands an immediate and ruthless insurrection. You must overthrow this phantom tyrant. You must sever the strings of apprehension and step firmly into the sovereign reality of the present moment. If you continue down this path of perpetual panic, you will reach the end of your life having never truly lived. You will have survived 1,000 imaginary deaths, missing the singular, beautiful existence right in front of you. It is time to draw a hard line in the sand. It is time to reclaim your mind from the clutches of useless dread. But here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. The solution is not to eliminate your emotions, nor is it to force a fake, fragile positivity. The true path out of this labyrinth requires you to look directly at the monster, unblinking, and systematically dismantle its power using ancient, unyielding logic. You must forge a mind of iron. Enter the hegemonicon. In Stoic philosophy, this is the command center of your soul. It is your rational faculty, the part of you that observes, judges, and decides. When you feel anxiety, your hegemonicon has been compromised. You have allowed external impressions to bypass your rational guard and infect your core. You must restore absolute authority to your internal commander immediately. The foundational weapon against dread is the dichotomy of control, brilliantly articulated by Epictetus. Some things are in our control, and others not. This is not a passive observation. It is a ruthless blade. You must slice the world in half. On one side, your thoughts, choices, and character. On the other side, absolutely everything else, including the future. Anxiety exists exclusively in the realm of things you cannot control. You agonize over what others will think, over economic collapse, over sickness and loss. These are adiaphora, indifferent things. They hold no moral weight. They cannot touch your virtue unless you allow them to. By worrying about them, you are attempting to enslave the wind. It is an impossible, maddening task. Seneca warns us that the man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is not anxious rumination. This is a calm, clinical calculation. You visualize the absolute worst-case scenario, not to panic, but to realize a profound truth. You will survive it. You are stronger than your fears. Look closely at the nature of your dread. It is driven by a false judgment. The Stoics taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about those events. If you lose your wealth, it is a neutral fact. The anxiety comes from your judgment that poverty is an unbearable evil. Change the judgment, and the anxiety instantly vanishes. We must cultivate apatheia. Do not mistake this for modern apathy or a deadened soul. Stoic apatheia is the glorious freedom from irrational passions. It is a state of pristine mental clarity, where you are no longer tossed about by the violent waves of fear and desire. It is standing like a towering cliff, while the crashing waves of anxiety break harmlessly around you. Marcus Aurelius commanded himself to erase his impressions. He understood that anxiety is an intrusive thought demanding a reaction. You do not have to give it one. You possess the power to look at a terrifying thought and say, "You are just an impression, and not at all the thing you claim to be." Deny it your assent. Starve it of your attention. To conquer anxiety, you must align yourself with nature, with the Logos. The universe operates on a rational, unbreakable chain of cause and effect. Whatever happens was always going to happen. Resisting reality breeds panic. Accepting reality breeds power. You must embrace amor fati, the love of fate. Do not just tolerate what comes. Actively embrace it as necessary fuel for your own virtue. Understand that your body is a vessel, fragile and temporary. Your reputation is a wisp of smoke. Your wealth is borrowed from fortune. None of these are truly yours. The anxious mind grips these illusions tightly, terrified of losing what it never truly owned. A true Stoic loosens their grip. They enjoy the banquet of life, but are always ready to walk away. We lack prosoche, vigilant attention to the present moment. Anxiety pulls you into the phantom realm of tomorrow, but virtue can only be exercised right now, in this exact second. When you divide your mind between the present task and future dread, you fail at both. Pull your scattered consciousness back to the immediate present. The current moment is always entirely manageable. Musonius Rufus taught that hardship is not an evil. It is a rigorous training ground for the soul. When anxiety whispers that a difficult challenge approaches, do not cower. Recognize it as an opportunity to test your philosophical armor. Without adversity, your courage rots. Welcome the approaching storm as a worthy opponent. It is here to forge your character in heavy fire. You must stop demanding that the world conform to your fragile desires. The universe is not a hotel catering to your comfort. It is a vast, unfeeling cosmos. The Stoic accepts this with profound dignity. When you stop demanding safety and certainty from an inherently uncertain world, the agonizing friction stops. You find peace not by changing the world, but by mastering yourself. Anxiety is a profound failure of logic. It requires you to believe that you are a prophet, capable of seeing a disastrous future. You are not a prophet. You are blind to tomorrow. Chrysippus argued that we must use reason to dismantle these false prophecies. Demand hard evidence from your fears. Bring them into the cold light of logic, and watch them dissolve. Consider the vast expanse of time. Memento mori. Think of the generations that came before you, their frantic worries, their desperate fears. They are all dust now. Their anxieties meant nothing. Your anxieties mean nothing. From the perspective of eternity, your current dread is microscopically insignificant. Zoom out. Look at your life from the cosmos, and the crushing weight will instantly lift. The Stoic seeks to fulfill their duty, their officium, regardless of the emotional weather. Anxiety tries to paralyze you, whispering that you must wait until you feel brave to act. But courage is acting while the fear is still present. You do not need to eradicate the physical sensation of dread. You simply need to refuse its commands. March forward while your hands shake. Your supreme goal is virtue, arete. If your character remains intact, no real harm can befall you. A ruined reputation, a lost fortune, a physical illness, these cannot stain your soul unless you respond to them with cowardice or malice. If the only true good is moral excellence, and that is entirely within your control, then what exactly is there left to fear? Wait. What comes next is what few truly understand about this philosophy. Theoretical knowledge is utterly useless if it remains trapped in old books. You cannot think your way out of anxiety. You must act your way out. The philosophy must become muscle memory. We must translate these ancient doctrines into immediate, relentless, daily practice. Tomorrow, when you wake up and the familiar knot of anxiety tightens in your chest, do not fight the physical sensation. Let your heart race. Instead, instantly isolate the triggering thought. Write it down. Force the phantom onto paper. Ask yourself, is this event entirely within my control? If the answer is no, you must boldly strike a heavy line through the words. Next, perform a clinical premeditatio malorum. If that dreaded event actually happens, how will you respond with virtue? Script your exact reaction. Decide beforehand that you will meet the disaster with profound dignity, patience, and courage. By preparing your rational response, you completely disarm the shock value of the event. The monster loses its teeth because you have already planned its defeat. Practice rigorous prosoche throughout your day. When you catch your mind drifting into catastrophic futures, violently snap your attention back to your hands. What are you doing right now? Focus entirely on the immediate task. Wash the dishes with absolute precision. Write the email with complete focus. Do not allow your mind to exist in a time zone that has not arrived. Whenever an anxious thought demands your belief, speak to it out loud. Address it as Epictetus commanded. You are just an impression. You are not reality. Treat your anxiety like a hostile witness in a courtroom. Interrogate it. Demand evidence. Do not grant it the automatic respect of your belief. You will find that most of your fears are built on fragile lies. Voluntarily expose yourself to mild discomfort to prove your own resilience. Take a freezing shower, skip a meal, wear inexpensive clothes. Remind your body and mind that you can withstand deprivation. When you realize that the things you fear most, hunger, cold, judgment, are entirely endurable, the anxiety surrounding them evaporates. You build an unbreakable confidence in your own supreme endurance. At night, before you sleep, examine your day. Review when anxiety successfully infiltrated your hegemonon. Do not judge yourself with anger. Judge yourself with clinical detachment. Why did you panic at noon? What false judgment did you assent to? By auditing your daily failures, you fortify your defenses for tomorrow. You turn every moment of weakness into a crucial tactical lesson. Stop outsourcing your emotional stability to other people. Limit your consumption of digital panic. Guard your mind furiously. The world wants you anxious because an anxious mind is easily manipulated, easily sold to, easily controlled. Refuse to participate in this grand theater of panic. Reclaim your sovereign territory. Become a citadel of calm reason in a loud, chaotic, and desperately frantic world. Let us turn to Rome in the year 65 AD. The philosopher Seneca finds himself caught in the lethal paranoia of Emperor Nero. Seneca is accused of participating in the Pisonian conspiracy to assassinate the emperor. The punishment is certain death. Soldiers are dispatched to his villa outside Rome. Imagine the crushing anxiety that would paralyze an ordinary man in this moment. He knows the soldiers are marching toward him. He knows his life is ending. The ultimate worst-case scenario, the very thing humanity fears most, death, is literally knocking at his front door. Yet historical accounts tell us there was no panic in the villa. Seneca did not beg, he did not weep, he did not allow his hegemonicon to be overthrown by animal terror. When the centurion arrived and delivered the imperial decree that Seneca must take his own life, Seneca's friends erupted into chaotic weeping. They were drowning in the exact anxiety we battle today. But Seneca remained perfectly tranquil. He gently rebuked them, asking, "Where are your maxims of philosophy? Where is the preparation against impending evils that we have studied for so many years?" Seneca had spent his entire life practicing premeditatio malorum. He had mentally rehearsed this exact moment 1,000 times before the soldiers ever arrived. He had already accepted his mortality. Because he had long severed the strings of attachment to his own physical body, Nero's soldiers had zero leverage over his mind. They could command his death, but never his inner panic. He calmly asked for a tablet to write his will. When the centurion refused, Seneca turned to his weeping friends and declared that he would leave them the finest legacy of all, the pattern of his life. He demonstrated the ultimate execution of apatheia. The event of death was indifferent. His virtuous, rational response was the only thing that truly mattered. He severed his own veins. As he slowly bled, he continued to dictate profound philosophy to his scribes. He engaged in calm discourse until his final breath. He transformed what should have been a scene of horrific anxiety into a masterclass of Stoic invincibility. He proved that no external force, Not even an emperor's death warrant can make a true philosopher panic. Seneca ruled his life until the very last drop of blood left his body. He was no puppet. He held the strings of his own soul. If a man can face execution by a tyrant with a steady hand and a calm pulse, you can certainly face your looming deadlines, your financial uncertainties, and the meaningless opinions of your peers with profound dignity.
The anxiety you feel is an illusion of control. You panic because you mistakenly believe that worrying will alter the outcome. Seneca knew worrying would not stop the bleed, just as your worrying will not stop the future. The only terrain you truly command is your immediate, rational response. Master that, and you become utterly untouchable by the chaotic whims of fate. The technique Epictetus used in chains? The discipline of assent. He brutally interrogated every fearful thought, asking, "Is this up to me?" If not, he dismissed it instantly. You must do the same. If this reflection moved you, subscribe. Tomorrow we detail Marcus Aurelius's exact nighttime routine for unbroken peace. The bell ensures you don't miss it. Who controls your mind today?